Can a shelf-available whiskey compete with Stagg and George T. Stagg? And what is that whiskey? Let's find out.
I'm your drinking buddy.
So what is this shelf-available whiskey that could be on par with Stagg and George T. Stagg? Well, that's at least what some of the whiskey community is saying. It's called Smoky Hill, and I might be stretching a little bit by saying that it is shelf available, but I've walked by it 3 times at my local liquor store, and this is the 3rd time I've seen it, and finally today I said, I'm buying it. So I bought it, but it is Smoky Hill barrel proof straight bourbon whiskey, aged 5 years, 134.2 proof, masterfully crafted with heirloom blue corn. Aged at least 5 years. Let's see. Exclusively distilled for Hazelwood Spirits Co. in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So it is MGP. That generally to me means it probably can't, keep up with Stagg, but we'll find out. We also are giving it a little bit of a redemption here because I had a sample of this to go in my best of last year, and I got a GTS rather late, and so I had to boot something. So this is the whiskey that unfortunately got booted, so it didn't get a chance to compete in last year's best of the year whiskeys. And so I thought I'd give it a little web redemption and have a crack to see if it's better than the George T. Stagg. I doubt that's going to happen. But what else do we got up here? I wanted to do a shelf, and like I said, this might not be a shelf whiskey in your area. It could be really hard to find. I don't know. It's also a fairly small company, so it might not even be available in your area. But in my area, it's a shelf bottle, so that's why I'm calling it that. And it was about $80. We have it going up against a mediocre Stagg batch. Why do I call Stagg 24D a mediocre Stagg batch? For me, it just wasn't as good as a lot of the other batches of Stagg. 127.4 proof. I won't be surprised if it's better than that, to be honest. I doubt it will be, but I won't be surprised if it is. Then we have it going up against a really good Stagg batch. So this is Stagg 24A. It is 127.6 proof. And then we have George T. Stagg, 136.1 proof. This is 2024. So all of these whiskeys were released in 2024. This guy is our shelf component. Like I said, I don't know how available it is in your area. These are our allocated component. This is our unicorn component. And we have a weaker Stagg batch. We have a good Stagg batch. Let's dive in. Smells like this might be Stagg. It does have a 75% chance to be Stagg. Might not be though, I don't know. It's a little oaky, a little fruity, a little like strawberry or cherry. And some like dankness, a little bit of like wet wood, a little bit of oak coming through. That is very good. That is very good. It's grapey, it's cherry, it's vanilla, it's brown sugar. It's good stuff. Good stuff. We're starting off strong. Starting off strong. Glass 2. This one is a little bit more of a complex nose than the first one. More going on here. This is like this is taking me in a lot of different directions. It's a little bit like dust and a little floral and a little citrusy and a little fruity and a little vanilla. There's a wild party here. There's a little bit funky here too. That's oaky, little tannic, medicinal cherry vibes. Okay, so things change on the second time through all the time, but just off initial rip, I don't think I like that one as much as the first one. Finish is long though. It's a very strong, very long finish, and that's cool. So that might give it some points when we reconsider these, because yeah, that finish is still going. That's pretty cool. Now this one's pretty bright, actually, for considering what we have on our table here. This is pretty bright. This is a little bit like cinnamon, honey, citrus on the nose. That's really nice. Strawberries, that cinnamon comes through on the palate too. That is a really berry forward whiskey. A little bit tannic as well. Interesting. A little bit like drying, mouth drying. Yeah, a little oaky. That's pretty good. Like I said, it's got a good finish though. This is hard. This is hard. I actually really like all three. So far, I think the first one is more special than the other two, but that, like I said, that could change. I feel like this is a fairly similar nose to this one. Or it's a little bit bright. It's a little bit bright. Like, I didn't expect to get bright out of any of these. But yeah, there's a little, this is bright, but also dank, if that makes sense. So what do I mean by that? Like there's bright, you know, nosing notes that are like citrus and honey and floral. And then there's like dank notes that are like wet tree stump and, you know, dark, like molasses and like, dark stone fruit and like dark cherries and things like that, where you're getting just more like of a rich, darker flavor, or a nosing note, I guess. Anyway, I'm rambling. Oh, wow, that's real good. That's real good. Vanilla cherry forward whiskey, cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper all day. There's brown sugar here. There's some barrel here. There's some oaky influence on that. Little bit of a molassesy thing that maybe, I guess, is more like brown sugar than anything, but well, drinking buddies, I will say that none of these is standing out as being bad, so I'm thinking that probably makes that a buy, because you know how hard this stuff is to get. That guy's pretty good, considering. So I'm going to go through these one more time. I'm going to cut this because I'll just end up saying the same tasting notes over again. When we come back, I'll rank them 1 to 4, and we'll do a reveal. So I decided to come back a little bit earlier than I normally do. Because I wanted you guys to experience this process a little bit, because I said things could change on the second time through. I've had each one more time, and things were, like I said, completely different. The first time I went this way, and the second time I went that way. And when we went that way, I felt like the 3 in the front really stood out above this one. So I feel like I've eliminated this one in glass 3. It's very good whiskey. I just like the ones in the front better. Now, this one, initially, I'm only keeping this one in because I liked it so much on the first rip. The second time through, it wasn't quite as strong to me. And here's the other thing. These two have a similar oak presence to me, so I couldn't tell you. I think one of these is the GTS. I'm not bottle guessing. I'm just letting you know that I think one of those could be the GTS. Possibly because they're my 2 favorite. This guy is taking a little bit of step back now. So now we got to figure out which one I like more out of these first 2. So we're going to go back in. We're going to go to glass 4 first. That's delightful. I'm loving the oaky medicinal cherry thing going on here. It's got a fun grape thing. It's got I just really like it. Let's see if I think it's better than this one. Let me find out. Let me go back in. Man, this one, I think the reason why I'm liking Glass 2 so much is it's just evolving. Each time I go back to it, I'm finding something new and different and awesome. Now I'm getting like some of the like leather tobacco-y vibes, which leads me to believe that's possibly GTS. But hey, I get that stuff off of Booker's, which is like 6 years old. I get that off of some Stagg Juniors. So I'm not saying that either one of these is the GTS. I am saying that I like this one slightly more. I just love the evolution in the glass that I've experienced on that one. I've gotten a different thing each time. It started out as something that I thought wasn't quite as good as the first glass, and now I realize it is much better than the first glass. Man, I'm gonna go back to Glass 4 or Glass 3 just to make sure I didn't make a mistake eliminating it immediately. Very good whiskey. I like the 3 in the front more. Let's figure out what we're working with. So my least favorite was the Smoke-Eye Hill. No surprise there. It did stand up to these guys, though. I really do think it did. I'm saying this is a buy. I think this is a really cool experience in a glass. And it's $80 for barrel proof whiskey and 134 proof craft barrel proof whiskey in 2025. It's not a bad deal, and I think it's a buy for me. Next was this one, which is the 24D. No surprise there. I said it was a weak Stagg batch, and we now know that that is the case. I do really like it, though. It is very good. I just like the 2 glasses in front more. My second favorite was, is this the GTS? I don't know, let's find out. 24A, which means my favorite was the GTS. Okay, so no shocker there. The best, mash bill 2 of 2024 from Buffalo Trace was the George T. Stagg. I mean, I guess we didn't compare it to Eagle Rare 17 yet. So if somebody out there wants to send me a sample of 2024 Eagle Rare 17, I'll put it up against the winner here and give it a chance. But I don't have that one. I have a sample of an Eagle Rare 17 from 2022. I've been saving that one for like a special occasion. Let's see. Yeah, this was fun. This was a really fun ride. I cannot believe I get paid a little bit of money to do this. Any amount of money getting paid to do this is a really, really cool thing. And I can't do that without you. So I really appreciate every one of you. Every time you guys like the videos, you seriously make this thing possible. I can't do this stuff without you. Every time you guys subscribe to the channel, you make this thing even more possible because, that subscriber count really matters to the algorithm. And drop a comment down below if you've had this Smoke-Eye. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was super overrated? It's hard to call something that's fairly readily available overrated, because if it was rated really high, I wouldn't be able to walk into the store and buy it. It's been sitting on the shelf there for weeks. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you.